Hello, this is Gerald van Waas. I promised myself that if one of the videos is not watched, not found, that I will not make any new videos except a repetition of the idea of the last subject. And the last subject was about showing the difference between hand and main from letter positions. So my theory says that letter positions can be found in an exact spot in time and space. These exact spots can be connected, and so then a way that you have an idea of what is formed as an idea based upon these positions. We deal with these positions for various reasons, and that's why it also fits with the underlying meanings that are oriented upon these words. And I showed you the difference between hand and main. I will start over again, and hopefully I will do it a little bit better, and it will be a bit different as always. But before that, I will also make a context of the letter H a little bit. All the letters are upon these positions in time and space. The blue one's just in space, the green one area just in time, and the red area is in context. So that's what makes context. But this context, I think I could always improve the explanation of that. It's most complicated part of the theory because it doesn't really fit with the geometrical orientations as easily. And so I have to find the right context as well. And I will improve it a little bit so that you will see that when you focus upon letters, the first 9 letters, they are really about one point. I have them there. In that point, I can derive them to, in a way, to a point in space. So if they move a little bit, okay, that's the communicative area as well. The changes, it all needs time. At the end of that cycle, you have the letters C, G, F, and P. They are already looking for context. And from these points on, where, for instance, with the G, the F, and the P at the end of the process, the G going towards a conclusion, and the F as well, going to a conclusion of where am I, somewhere in time and space. I need a little bit of context because it's the dispersing away. There you will find for the first time context. And from these points, I will quickly go to the points of context, how you see them. So from the moment things are too far away that you need a little bit of context, these letters will appear. The letters of Q, G, and V will appear as if you have a starting point in context. So you need a bit context. So you need to start from context if you want to understand it. You can't say, I have here a physical place, I start from there. Or I have something that is moving in time, that's my starting point. No, the starting points are in context. The G, you have that. With the V, you have that. And the Q, you have that. You can only understand it with a starting point of context, and then you go further. From one-dimensional plane of context, this is the two-dimensional plane of context. It's the H. So this is the area of context. Here we have a full, not just a starting point, a full area of context that is found in the H. Remember that. I will make a few variations so that you understand completely why this point is where it is and how you can understand it. And the last 3 letters in context are, of course, a result of context. The results are there only because of context. This is the 3-dimensional plane of context, so you can only understand things with S and E from context onwards. So in that way, the thinking process that is behind the formation of the letters and its meaning of its words via that perspective. So the 1, 2, and 3 dimensionals from context are here for the first time explained a little bit better. This is the background context. I will go to the real thing as well. So the H is basically that area that starts from context. I can't see it before my eyes. I can't see it in the time frames. I can only see it from context, but it is still within that frame, that green frame of timings. You can still have it, and it's wider, of course. It's much wider already, because it's wider than what you can see, where it comes from, where it goes to. It's even wider than that. It's a bigger context, but it will make sense if you see it from that point of view. So again, you have some choices, of course, so you can see immediately the things as they are, where they are in the placements, or you can see them where they move to in the timings, or you can see how they hang together in the context. You need one of these three orientations only in steps when you can't see the previous one. So it starts with placement. If you can't see an immediate placement, you need timing. You can't see it with timing, you need context, and then you will see and can describe all things. And the H from hand is, of course, at that place that moves away, moves the starting point of your in a two-dimensional frame of where you're oriented upon. It moves it away from the immediate point before you, moves it away from the timing that you say, okay, it starts from here and starts from there always. No, it's a larger context. You have an old frame where it can be adapted. So the H of the hand will start from outside your common frames, and you can go in several directions with it. The ah is always about centralizing. So after that point where I found it outside my usual frame, then I stare at the hand and I make it a central point of attention. With the N, I will take out elements that can be moved out, or can also be taken out into a certain direction. And the D is a center point that is away from the center, and that also moves away at some point or another. That's the D. But you even can have the D everywhere, so that is that you can move to different positions in time. That's the D. So all within a starting point of a region with a certain distance, you can reach out to some other places. That's what you do with the hand, and the hand also fits with the form that you can show of what kind of process is going on from letter to letter. So, of course, every every word is starting from one of these positions, and nobody says that you have to start with a hand, for instance. Okay, that it will make sense in the whole logic in how hand is used, how we are using the hand, etc., etc. I'll go back to that. But it can start from somewhere else, of course. You can start from context. The hand here will start from context. Could start from timing, could start from placement. If I use a different language, will it always be the same? No. For main, for instance, the French word for hand, it starts in space. So it starts actually somewhere else. It starts, the description of the main will be different, and we will find out why it's different, how it is different, and if in the end of the process, if it will also be very different in the way how it is being used or associated. I will look into that too. Because main starts from the physical plane, so from me, main, me, it's almost the same. Mine, main, it sounds a bit the same. It also starts from a starting point that is physical, that is personal, so that you have you deciding what to do with it. The M is about extensions. It's written in the theory. It's about extensions from the physical plane. Then you focus on A. Then you have the E in between, which is not written, so that means that you can adapt it to somewhere into a context. So you go towards it with that center towards a certain context, and then you take out the things again, just like the fingers across again. All within that field, with the last couple of, all within that field of communications, except for the E, because the E looks also for context. And if you do that, if you look for context, you will also bring the hand, if necessary, when needed, when found, towards that context. That's the way how hand is described in the French word main. And basically it is, I start with my hand, I use it in a communicative field, and I look for a contextual reference. So you have here this communication. Here you have the two hands. This is the French way. And it looks for it, and it can use it, and it will approach with a hand to somewhere else. Basically, a hand often is used for the communication, literally as well. We shake hands. It is so we, and that's the that's how we not just communicate, but that's also how we deal with my vision, mine, and your vision, and we come to an agreement. That's the kind of thing that is all embedded in that word, in that hidden language, let's say, of the word of a word with the capital. The first word with the capital of the word is about the process that leads you into a behaviorism that fits to the word itself, and that makes you associate with it in a certain way. It's there in that word. And they use it to find in communication and reach the other person. That's how the French way is. It's direct. It goes from a personal thing, so the persons will start from their own vision, how they see it, from their own language, from their own viewpoint, and see how they can use it in communication towards a certain goal that can fit for everyone. The English hand is different. It's let's say we use the same concept of trying to find an agreement. The H is that starting point, not from the hand itself, but from the context of a placement. What can I do with it? What is the space that I can start from? So even with the association of hand, it doesn't start from the physical idea of the hand, but it starts from what can I do? Where is it? It's not immediately from the physical plane. It's used for a kind of reasoning, and I will go to this reasoning. When a hand is successful, it starts from H, go to the center point, finds applications somewhere else at a different place. They will also do that, but they will do that in a different way. They will do that in a certain way, at a distance with the H, rationally with the H, as an opportunity with the H. So it's the way of thinking is different, but you can use the word hand as well for the same reasons, for the same purposes. The starting points are slightly different, associated. And I'll go to these three regions again, and the way how we build up letters. They are all based upon this blue part, physical, green, the communications, and red, the zone of the context. And in there, how does it work to that we recognize and associate letters? Is actually, it's a very physical association that I have there. There are these 9 positions of the 9 kind of positions that you have in space. That's basically the whole theory. This is what you see underneath. But if there's fit points in 1, 2, or 3 centers in the center, in the volume or at the edges. If it's not immediately clear, you have, of course, then it goes from one position to the next. Then okay, then you have to switch and see, okay, where is it? Is it in the starting? What's in the end? Or where is it? Is it somewhere in between? Where is it? It uses the same pinpoints, but in movement. And the last ones, it will also use it in context. Based upon this, it's not clear enough, but I will still associate the H a little bit better, because this is basically, in the theory, the H is about that you can't see the center that is enlarged immediately in the physical plane, because you need more associations to orientate yourself. It's also not in time, so it's in context. So you have all these three regions that are added up, so that in the end you will find the place. Where is the place of the center? So I have it moves from one place to another. It is a bit different. Where is it? And for the H, it will of course mean it is moved in context. The center, which is extending, moved outside. And there it is. So it is outside your focus, outside the timing. It's in context. We use the context first with the hand. We look for the context first, and then we use the hand. Not we don't start from the physical plane with the hand. We don't start with the hand to associate time processes. No, we associate the hand to make concepts also. That's basically the most important thing to do, and we start from there, and it moves. It can move anywhere, of course. The A will be projected on the hand. The N will be also projected on the hand. That's what you take out after some time and time process. The D, also a deviation in time, so that you don't have that center immediately. So it's a bit away, just like the thumb is a bit away. And you have the form. With Ma, the same thing. You have the M. You start from the physical plane. Then the A on top of it. The A is the center, so you add a center on the M part. The M part is about extensions in the material. With the extensions in the material, you still have a focus, a center focus. You have insertions of contextual ideas that go into the extensions. These extensions will also be at the same time can be taken out to use it somewhere, and basically it's okay. You have to follow the theory a little bit, the logic about it, but you have the results are already visible here. That's what I will resume it a little bit. So the main of the other hand is that physical extension with the fingers, which can be used and taken out as it is, and reach out as well. There's more associations with time and so on. That will be for some other time maybe, but you can. This is the way how the hand is formed, and whatever direction that is, inward, outward, it doesn't matter. The hand as Ma had all these possibilities, like the hand again in a different way. You had also this association of H, so it can be anywhere, it can be adapted anywhere, but of course most of the time it will be using H as the concept, as a conceptual working area, in which H is like a checking out of an effectiveness. So how effective is what I have here? What does work? What within this space works well? This kind of effectivity is checked first. Before I shake hands, I first check out if this is worth it, if this is, and so on. The A is then the center point. The N, it's not just only taking out and for an initiative. It's also a taking out possibility. So at one point you can take out, or at some point you can take in. The N, as you can see it in the letter, how it is really written, it's yes or no. So at some point you can have it, at some other point you cannot have it. And the D is always an association with a point in space now, which is different than at some other point what I have to reach at some point or another. So, of course, how does this work in visualization? So all these points, basically as a theory, steady points, moving points in time, contextual points. It's not so easy to build up a theory from here because the basis is there. I can represent them differently as well, because in a way that's more like how we see it. We see the points of reference or directly, or it moves a bit. Okay, I have them widened a bit, but it is like moving, so that you don't know where it's going. Or it's moving so well that it is spreading. And of course you need more and more time if it's not immediately visible. And time is of the aspect that will be needed for time and context. They will be added, and also in all the concepts of all the letters they will be added and will be needed. And it all happens at once. So that's how we see it. So we see everything within range. But somebody, you see, oh no, it's moving, so I need a bit more attention. If it's moving so hard, you see, where do I land there? And there you have some of the letters of the last context. You see, they are broadening so much that your attention is going away from the center and even from the moving part away. It's moved away, so it moved outside your focus. So the material normally is expected in the material. The H is in the scheme at the second position. So it's about material, about volume. So they are in the center. They're not in the center, but in the volume part. So it's about material. So you look for your material, but they are now spread it so hard, so you can't see the material immediately. You can't see it in the space. You can't see it in time. You can see it moving so much in time that you're losing your reference points of space and time. So you need a bit more context. Where is it? Outside your own space, outside a bit your own time frame, and you expect the material to be clear and close by, but it's simply elsewhere. And that's a good association to have. The H, it's a bit out of our focus, it's elsewhere. It's one of these associations that you can have from H, which makes really very much sense that it's out of range. It's not just that, it's still about material, how material hangs together, but it's out of your range to see it immediately. But you can follow it. And I had them, these in the theory, I had explained them as focuses of three, the three focuses, just like you saw in the middle, and I had them shown in the previous videos as 1, 2 or 3 centers. So in one center for the spatial associations, the 9 letters of the spatial associations, in 2 circles as a time frame, so with the blue and the green, and in 3 circles for the additional context that you need. And the letters are really, it's actually very simple. And so first you have one center, one a bit away from the volume, a bit then outside at the edges, or 2 centers, or 3 centers. And the H was about 2 centers, so 2 centers in the blue part, in the green part, and then in the red part. And together we have to find out, yeah, where am I now? Because I can't find it. And the way when you put them together into this focus in 3 scheme, your mind will give it an order. The order which is also already be seen in this kind of representation, because it's not the final representation, it's how it works. what the order that you will try to make is, yeah, where is the place? It can be at the left, at the right, and that makes an order in the middle. That's one of the things that you can associate, but it is just an association. But your mind will make a conclusion. It will make a conclusion, oh, it hangs together in the middle, but where is it? Left or right? And there's the H. A is always in the center, N is always up, and D is always moved in time sideways. So you can recognize the letters, and together they form the hand. So here's the H. So as the last thing, just a conclusion. So you have, this is one of the techniques, I repeat that, it's just one of the techniques to say how does our orientation work in time and space. So we have three kinds of focuses in H, one kind of focus in A, two focuses in N, and two focuses in D. So they are about context making in H, centralizing your focus in A, and making a time schedule somewhere in N and D. So how does that fit into the form? So you have underneath two ways to describe the same thing. It's basically you have an area that is your predictable area, but you can not predict it so well. So you have to move it away to an area that you can see, and that area that you can see and orientate upon and see how this context works together. Then you have the placement as well. That's the placement of the H, and these placements of the H as a placement can be used to centralize the A of the hand, from which with the sound E will show multiple variations, with E in time, with I with ideas, as the sound E, hand, and this, the A itself is the center. The N that comes out then is what you take out in time, that you can use, the things that you can use at a certain time, the material that you can use. So you give it a choice what you will be using of the fingers as well, and the D sideways to a placement, and that's a final placement where also the hand will find its function. That's basically what is described in the letters. I hope these were clear enough. They were a lot more clear. And if the previous video wasn't found, or people might not be interested anymore, I don't know what the reason is. I give it myself another chance, but I will only give it other chances of new videos if there's no interest anymore with the same thing over and over again. I don't mind. That's the only thing from now on I will do. I will describe hand and ma, or maybe different variations, as long as until there is gained some reaction or another. Thanks again. Bye.